live doing our thing here on internet land. I don't know where I came up with that. Like, we are live right here on internet land. How's everybody doing?
It's the same every time.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell the actual internet land that I've heard you say the words internet land like literally 1,000 times. You never vary it. It's never internet city, internet world, internet town.
Ooh, internet city.
Websville.
I like that. Salutations, Websville. If the internet was a physical place, would you go?
Well, the internet's made out of everything in the world, and everything in the world already has a physical place, so it's like I am there.
Yeah. We live in the internet right now, man.
I mean, are you asking me if I go to Tron?
I guess?
Does it look like Tron to you? When you picture the internet, do you picture Tron?
Ooh. I feel like I picture more of the like sci-fi street market where it's just a mix mash of everything. Like there is no specific, like it's not necessarily like Middle Eastern, but it's not necessarily sci-fi, but there's booths that are like Japanese, and then there's booths that are clearly this is American, but I don't know why you're here.
Like that virtual market from Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets?
Yes. Yeah. One like that, or
big market.
That is stuff that you see in like Star Wars or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was just like curious because I feel like if the internet was a physical place, it would have big mall energy.
Yes.
It would just be a mall.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to go to Etsy, but it's a physical mall.
The Etsy store. Yeah, I don't know where I came up with that though, because a couple weeks ago we were talking about like a sign off to our shows. If we have like a certain saying or stuff that we do every single time at the end of our shows, we didn't really have one. We didn't really settle on one, but somehow I have like just settled on like, hello internet land, how are you guys doing out there, which a lot of the time just gets chopped off when I make the podcast, and it's not in the actual show, but it is like when we go live on stream or stuff like that. It's my way of saying hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
It is the afternoon.
Yeah. It's Saturday afternoon. Now that you mention it, we typically record these Friday night, but we had some change of plans. Melissa went to the movies and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, let's do introductions because I want to hear about this movie experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Captain's Log number 163. I believe that's the right number.
I didn't look it up.
My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined as always by Melissa Wilkinson.
Hello.
Melissa, you went to go see Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. How was it?
I had a blast. What a wacky film. Kyle, would you believe me if I told you that Venom, Let There Be Carnage is a 90-minute comedy?
I would believe you. Yes. It has the right ingredients from the first one, which seemed to maybe try and take itself seriously, and then everyone just like made jokes at the whole thing, and then like the people that made this was like, guess we did make a comedy, huh? And then they're like, yeah, well, let's lean in. Like,
right. That's what this is. Right down to the 90-minute runtime. I was sitting there. I went to the drive-in. I'm sitting in my car so I can like look at my phone and just eat. I had like 4 different snack containers open around me. It was great. I love the drive-in. And I'm like, this movie's like real snappy. Like it's just moving right along. Like it didn't really feel rushed. But I'm like, oh, you're not wasting time on anything. It's like
It's
halfway
cool.
through, I'm like, how long is this supposed to be? Flat hour and a half, which I have not seen in like 80 superhero movies since the 90s. It's unique. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a bananas time. Venom, he goes to a dance party. He's covered in like glow stick necklaces all over his giant goo body. He interrupts a wedding.
When you say he's covered in glow sticks, remember in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, that like shirt, that top that she had that was kind of like fuzzy with all those different colors.
Oh, the tinsel one?
Yeah. That's what I imagine on Venom, but made out of glow sticks instead.
No, like you take a bunch of glow sticks together and they make a necklace, but like you can have longer ones. So like they're like he's wearing them like across his body like bandoliers, just covered in glow sticks.
Now, I think I saw something on Twitter yesterday that Andy Serkis commented, because he was the one that directed the film.
Yes.
He commented that yes, Let There Be Carnage has a lobster moment of its own. Was there a moment similar to the lobster moment from Venom 1?
I forgot that you're talking about like Tom Hardy crawling into the lobster tank. When you said just lobster on its own, I thought about that movie where like Joaquin Phoenix is like a sad single man and they're like, if you don't get married, you're going to turn into a lobster. Or like that bit from Friends where like you see two lobsters like holding claws in the tank, and when you find your true love, that's your lobster. I'm like, I guess that's what Eddie and Venom have. I guess they're each other's lobster.
I mean, I guess he likes seafood. I don't know.
That is one of the climactic moments of the film, is that they look at Cletus and Carnage, and Eddie and Venom are like, they don't got what we got. We're a team. We understand each other. The power of love, our love for each other,
our friendship prevails.
It's what a wild movie. Yeah, I think it's got stuff like that. Yes. Okay. Mostly it's like Venom. Not to spoil too many things. I know you're not super invested in these series of films. These are so bananas. Like all these things I'm going to tell you are like so weird out of context. But like Venom gets mad and he leaves.
I don't mind the out of context. I think because of how, like the way you're talking about this one is making me want to go back and watch these, because I skipped these because they're not with the MCU and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll get to them eventually. But yeah, I feel like these are now essential viewing in their own way, just because of how ridiculous they are.
Yeah. In this movie, like Venom gets mad and like leaves Eddie, and he's just hopping around like other bodies across the city. So you get to see Venom like on his own, absent of Eddie's presence. But then you get to see the two of them just like banter with each other. Like I said, this movie is I think a comedy, first of all.
That's amazing.
But speaking of the MCU, that is what brought me out to the theater to like see this. It was like, this is what made me want to go see it opening night, because there were rumors that there would be a post-credit scene linking this to the MCU.
Yes. I have heard those rumors. I haven't had it spoiled. I will say this though, so maybe minor spoilers for someone out there if you want nothing, but this is also coming from someone that hasn't seen the film yet. So there you go. New Rockstars put up their video of the post-credit scene explained.
Yes,
and that popped up on my feed. I did not watch it because I haven't seen the movie, but it was the first thing in my feed. So when I went to my subscriptions and it had that one highlighted, it was like, hey, here's a picture of the boat from Spider-Man Spider-Man Homecoming. Here's a picture of Doc Ock. Here's a picture of this. And I was just like, okay, so they're definitely talking in that sphere. Like they're at least
Yeah.
acknowledging those rumors. So it will be interesting to see. So I'm excited.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, you asked me when was the last time I like clapped at the end of a movie. I clapped for this one. Mostly because I was like alone in my car. So like I can do
Sure.
whatever I want. So I'm gonna clap. But there were definitely clap-worthy things in general.
So that begs the question then, has there been a movie that you would have clapped at if you weren't in the like surrounded by the social anxiety of like should I do it? No. Okay.
It's a running motif in M. Night Shyamalan's movies. He's from Philadelphia. A lot of his movies are set in Philadelphia. When I went to see Old, and one of the characters, like, which it takes place entirely on that island resort, when one of the characters mentions that they're from Philadelphia, I wanted to clap then. I had a reaction.
Woo! I'm from St. Louis. Yeah, you go, Philly.
I'm proud of his hometown pride, even if our hometowns are different.
Yeah. It's good. That's good. All right, so I have to ask you the most important question about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. If Venom 2 was a candle, what would this movie smell like?
Ooh.
You've asked me.
This is a good metric, yeah.
When I went to go see some of the Marvel stuff just slightly before you, and you're like, what does it smell like?
Right. If you had to describe the Black Widow as a candle or something. So if Let There Be Carnage was a candle, I think it would smell like chocolate, a basement, but like not like a gross basement, you know, just maybe if you're like in a cool underground area with like stone walls, you know, and it's like a little dank, but not bad dank, you know, it's that smell and chocolate and maybe like
air.
Yeah. It's kind of like a wet smell, you know, something like that. And maybe roses? Flowers. There's some flowers in there, I think.
Huh, okay. Interesting mix of smells there. Dank, but not really dank basement.
Romantic basement. Like that's the name of the Let There Be Carnage candle.
Romantic basement. Let me take you to the romantic basement. Fun stuff. I have a movie that I'm excited to watch that also came out on Friday. The Many Saints of Newark.
That's right.
The Sopranos one, yeah. Hoping to get to watch that sometime today, if not tomorrow. But yeah, that's out on HBO Max and in theaters. I watched all of the Sopranos like earlier this year, I think is when I started it. At like January 1st is when I was like, here we go, diving in. Was not super impressed by the show itself, but the movie at least looks more like what I was hoping to get out of the show. I still liked the show and stuff like that. It was just not what I expected. But yeah, I haven't heard much yet. I've kind of stayed off of Twitter enough to like not really know how people are feeling about that one. So it'll be interesting, but that's what I'm hoping to watch soon.
I'd like you to count every saint and report back to me, please.
Sure. I will let you know how many times they say the word saint and who they are referring to.
Right. The fact that there's many saints in Newark intrigues me. I don't know a single thing about The Sopranos, but this is just such an odd title that I'm fascinated by it and whatever the heck this movie could contain.
It kind of is. Like it's a prequel. We know that, and it's kind of about Dickie Moltisanti, who is one of the characters that we didn't really get to see in the show. We see his son in the
Okay.
show a lot. Um, and and we know that Dickie was murdered somehow, and the circumstances are unclear of like how it happened or who did it, stuff like that. And that's a plot point that comes up later on in the show, that maybe Tony knows how he died, and
Oh.
at one point sets Christopher, his son, in the direction of like, hey, that's the guy, and I'm
Okay.
telling you this now because I'm preparing you for a bigger role in family and stuff. So here's your like introduction, but he goes to kill that guy, and it turns out it's not him. So it's like the circumstances are mysterious with that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure what the saints exactly are referring to, other than maybe like these are the parents of the characters, and the ones that we see are the younger ones. Because I've heard someone describe the Sopranos series as like all of the people that are main characters in the show seem like they are people that grew up hearing stories about whether it was their parents or their grandparents doing more mafia stuff, and just all like having that glorified through those stories, and then coming up on movies like The Godfather and stuff like that. So they end up with this like romanticized view of what it should be. And then when they're old enough and taking over and doing this stuff, they just have this like romanticized view, but that's not actually what needs to happen, and like how you do all of this stuff. And so it's just like it seems like things are dying out, if that makes sense. So there must be this like romanticism of the past and stuff like that. That might be what it refers to, but who knows? So I haven't seen it, so I'm just talking out of my ass here.
Tonight is movie night. I got my place decorated for Halloween. I hung up Halloween lights. I got pumpkins.
I do see
movie
a
time
tiny
extra cozy
pumpkin back there on
one little pumpkin
desk there. Yeah, one little pumpkin.
Most of them are in my living room.
There you go.
I changed my tablescape. I set out I've got an X-Files coffee table book. I've got a vampire coffee table book just about all the history and pop culture of vampires, and the book's filled with like little pockets and foldouts and things. Like it's filled with inserts. Like here's a mock-up lobby card for like an old vampire movie. Yeah, it's a book full of supplementary materials.
I was wondering when you first mentioned a vampire like coffee table book. We call them coffee table books because they look nice displayed on a coffee table. But whenever someone says that, I always think the books are always about coffee first. I don't know why. It's just in my head like, oh, it's a coffee table book about the art of the venture bureaus. And I'm like, how does that relate to coffee?
There is a wine coffee table book I've had my eye on. Maybe once I buy it, it becomes a wine table.
There you go. Yeah. I was when you mentioned the vampire one, I was thinking, okay, how does this relate to coffee? Are they pairing different types of blood? Yeah, with different roasts of coffee, right? Like, okay, O negative really pairs well with the dragon roast from South Africa, right? Like that works really well. If you can get your hands on that, perfect.
I don't know if different blood types taste different, and I don't know who would be able to tell me. I'm not sure if I want to know the answer.
I mean, probably a vampire.
I'll just go find one.
Sure.
Go down to my local vampire district.
Oh man. Well, I mean, hey, if you can go to Internet City, you might be able to find the vampire district. So good stuff there. Good stuff. Melissa, when is the last time that you really splurged on something? You were like, whether you saved up to buy something specific or you just had the, you know what, screw it. Like I'm just gonna spend more money than I probably should, but I'm just gonna buy this big thing. Or it could be multiple stuff, but just like I'm just gonna splurge.
I don't know. Maybe earlier this year when I bought my new couch.
Okay, yeah.
That was like $1,700 or something. I'd been saving for a while. I spent so much time researching this couch. It's like I want a good one. It's I'm not buying the couch that's going to last me the rest of my life, but like this is the couch for like the rest of my bachelorette hood at least. Like I want a stable piece of furniture that can stand up to like my giant butt and like laying there watching all these movies.
Go. Yeah, that I think a good couch is an important thing to have.
Now it's chair time.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it when we were talking about couches back then, but I have a giant leather couch that I bought from my roommate's best friend who used to live here in this house and then moved out and was traveling for a year in one of those like smaller like mobile home things, so they didn't take a lot of their furniture and just sold it off, and so we're like, we'll buy the couches, thank you. But yeah, so I bought myself a new toy this week. I sold my old computer finally. It's just kind of been sitting there, the old MacBook that I started making this podcast on. I think I started on a laptop, an old MacBook. And then I bought like a Mac desktop and the laptop that I have now. I've told that story about how I got my laptop for free. Do you remember that? It was years ago. Yeah, I had a MacBook that I bought for college. I think I ended up with a second MacBook at some point because I had to upgrade. But eventually I was like, hey, I like my laptop. I'm almost done with school. I'm not gonna really need this all that much longer. I'm mainly using my computer for the podcast. So I'm going to buy a desktop instead. And so my thinking was like, hey, this is an older laptop. So if I buy a newer desktop, it'll be just as powerful, if not more powerful, because it's newer, right?
Sure.
And then I'll just buy some like cheaper laptop and stuff like that. So that's what I did. It was Black Friday, I want to say like 2016, 2017, maybe. I don't remember exactly when. And yeah, I bought my Mac desktop computer and like an $800 Lenovo laptop. And the Mac got there the next day. Came super fast, was delivered, no problem. And then I just had issue after issue with the laptop. And they said, hey, it's out for delivery. And I'd be super excited. And then it wouldn't come. And so I was like, okay, maybe they just didn't make it on time. Like they were extra busy. And no, they like ended up not delivering it for multiple days and then saying they were like sending it back. And I was just like, what? Like, why would you do this? And so I contacted support of the delivery company, and they were like, yeah, the location was unsafe. And I was like, what do you mean it was unsafe? And they were like, well, the package is so expensive that we don't want to leave it there by itself. And like we at my old apartment, we often had packages like left outside, but we had
Mhm.
like it's not a foyer, but what's the, like,
A
times when
vestibule?
you, I guess that's, I don't really know what a
A
vestibule
nook?
is per se. It's kind of like a nook, right, where we have the, like, the glass
Yeah.
doors, and then there's like a small, like really really small room, and then there's our actual front door. And
Mhm.
so they could leave the packages right in there and it'd be totally fine. And my roommate had 3 pit bulls at the time, and they bark at everything. So, like, no one's gonna really rob our house per se. At least they're gonna have a very tough time. Uh,
Mm.
and so it's just like, how is this unsafe? Like, we're not in a necessarily bad neighborhood. Like, we're right by campus. I don't like, what's the deal? But they were like, look, we've already returned it. We can't do a thing about this. And so I was like, fuck, okay. So I then contacted the Lenovo, or I think because I bought it from Staples. So
Okay.
I contacted their support and I explained the situation. I was like, they keep saying it's unsafe, but it's not unsafe. Like, I
Mhm.
legitimately just had a more expensive computer delivered like a week ago, no problems. And the company you used to ship this just refused to deliver it. Um, and so I complained, and someone would respond of like, well, we're so sorry, but we can't do anything about that. That's the policy of the delivery company. So like, we will like refund your money and all that stuff. I was like, no, I don't want a refund. I paid for this thing. I want it. Like, give me the thing. And then, like, a day would go by, and then someone new would respond on the
Yeah.
ticket, but they very clearly didn't read what my issue was, or like
Mhm.
continue the conversation. So I would have to explain again, like, what the whole situation is. And the same thing would happen the next day. And I was just like, I was like, all right, give me like, give me your manager, give me someone who will stay with this no matter what day it is. I refuse to let you know what the problem is until I get someone that will stick with this. And so I finally
Mhm.
got someone, explained the situation. They helped out, and they were like, all right, we're shipping it we're shipping it once more. uh or I think they said something like, all right, we'll refund you all of this stuff, and that will be that. And I was like, no, I don't want a refund, I want the actual thing.
Mhm.
And so then they eventually reshipped the actual thing, but still also refunded me.
Ah!
And at that point, I was like, well, I'm not gonna respond, because if I
Oh.
let them know that they refunded me, I don't want them to charge me again. And well, because yeah, if I don't get charged, that's fantastic. But then if they charge
Mhm.
me again, I don't want there to be a weird thing of like, well, maybe I was charged twice for this thing, and then I have
Yeah.
to deal with that. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I was just like, well, okay, they said they shipped it, and they also refunded me. So we'll see what happens here. And yeah, I got the laptop, and the money went back into my bank account. and then nothing else happened. So I ended up getting this laptop for free. Um, but yeah, that was the whole thing with that, which is the laptop that I have now.
Nice.
But all of that goes to say that I bought a new toy this week. I splurged. I
Okay.
sold that Mac computer that I had for like 200, and then I have been redesigning the reactor core stuff. I've
Yeah.
made the new artwork. If you guys have been watching it, you might have noticed that I shortened the intro so we get to the actual content faster.
Yeah.
I plan on redesigning the animation, but I also plan on redoing the intro music, so it's not like a big long like 14-second thing. I just want some like real small, like here's an intro jingle, like right, and then it's like, hey, welcome to the reactor core. But I don't want to make the animation because I want to make the animation to the music that I already have there, so it fits. But because I don't have my Mac, I don't have GarageBand now, so I can't really make music like I used to. Somewhere in my room, I have a machina. I believe it's called a machina. I always pronounced it a machine because it's spelled almost exactly like the word machine, but it's with an S-H. And then, yeah, it has an E at the end there. But it's basically a drum machine. It has like the 16 pads and stuff like that, and you can make beats. And that's what I made some beats on back in the day. It's somewhere in my room. I got that thing back in like 2009. It's buried. It's old. I don't know where it is or if it still works. At one point, I tried to put it on that Mac that I sold, but I had the license on another computer that I didn't have anymore, and their support was only during business hours, and I was at work during those hours, so I couldn't like do that. So I was just like, so I was just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna buy a new one, and I'm just gonna buy a new one of these things. But I also don't know how much I'm gonna get to use it, so I bought their like smaller. They have like a micro one.
How micro?
So I bought this guy, Machine
Micro.
That's
still pretty big.
It's I think the normal one is more square.
Okay.
So it's like double.
What you're holding
up
for the listener is like I don't know, like a Whitman sampler box, like a good box of chocolates, like the one that like you and your sibling chip in to get your mom for Mother's Day.
You said sampler box, and you meant chocolate, but
yeah,
a sampler box is oddly inapt description for what this is musically.
It's not perspectives.
It's a drum machine. It's a like electronic drum machine, like an MPC or stuff that you see in like hip hop videos that they hit the pads to make the beat and stuff like that. And you can program different sounds into each pad. So when I hit that one, it's the bass, or if I do that one, it's the snare. Stuff like that. But yeah, it's by a company called Machine or Machina, I believe is how it's pronounced. And yeah, I splurged on this thing, but I didn't know if I should buy this. I had a weird thing happen this week that the universe was like, do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I sold the computer, got like $200 it was dirt cheap. But I think this was like 270 ish.
Ooh.
So I was like, well, if it's only $70 because I just got that
Mm-hmm.
200, like that's
Yeah.
not bad, right? But I was still just like, do I really want to buy this like expensive piece of equipment to like maybe not get to use all that much? Which
Yeah.
is then why I was like, let me go with the micro. Let me go with the small one that's meant to be like I can travel with this thing and stuff like that. Um, Even though I'm
Take it
not
on
really
business trips.
traveling. Yeah, right. Um,
Show
but
your confused parents.
yeah, I was still on the fence. I was just like, should
Yeah.
I? Should I not? I don't know. And then oddly enough, you know how you like every once in a blue moon, your phone will give you a notification for an app that like maybe you haven't used in a while, or like one that like normally
Yeah.
doesn't send you a notification that's been like, hey, you haven't checked in a while. Don't forget that your app is still here.
Uh-huh.
Please use the app. Right? I had a moment similar to that where Venmo sent me a
Oh.
notification. I don't get notifications from the Venmo unless I pay someone or someone pays me, and the notification literally said, "Hey, you have money in your account. Buy yourself something nice."
Ah.
And I was just like, okay, thanks, Venmo. The universe is obviously trying to tell me to spend
Yeah.
money. So yeah, I did. I was like, all right, if it's only 70 bucks, I'll buy this thing. And then after I purchased that, like the next day in the mail, I get a check from my insurance company for a couple hundred, and
Ooh.
they were like, hey, this is a rebate on your insurance. Long story short, if your insurance provider does not spend 80% of the money that it receives, um, from all of its stuff on its expenses, then we have to give a little bit of that money back to
Huh.
its people. Yeah, so I got a couple hundred more dollars on that, and I was just like, well, I like this thing bought itself. I just keep
Nice.
getting money. So yeah, that was an interesting thing, but it was so strange to just have the universe just be like, hey, you're on the fence, just
Uh-huh.
just fucking buy it, right? Just spend it. Just spend the $70. So that's what I did, and I bought myself a new toy. So I am working on the new intro song for the reactor
Cool.
core. So hopefully, I think what I'll plan to do is when we do our end of the year retrospective, that's when I'll like show everything off, and then starting
Ooh.
in the new year, the reactor core will have a new look and
Oh,
sound.
cool.
So there you go. That's the plan.
Big
That's the
doings for
plan.
Kyle.
Yeah, good old for our for our anniversary slash birthday celebration. I always like to be like,
Yeah.
hey, here's some new things, or here's this, or here's that, or I worked on that thing. So there you go. Indeed. Melissa, speaking of birthdays, you have something written down here.
I do. Kyle, yesterday was a special day. It was Disney World's birthday. The Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom opened 50 years ago yesterday, October 1st, 1971.
Wild. The only thing I saw about this online were they sunsetting some like uh I ride or entertainment I don't know what it was
They did replace
exactly.
their like nighttime spectacular show. Like, every night there will be like light projections onto the castle, some
Hmm.
fireworks, stuff like that. And they did just start a new show specifically for the anniversary celebration, which is going to
Oh,
last
cool.
for a year and a half. For the next 18 months, they're going to stretch out this 50th anniversary.
I mean, that's probably smart of them so that people can get there. I
Yeah.
if it was up to me, I'd just say the next 2 years because 51 and 52 are like they're not like hey, you've reached 60. It's not the like big milestone
Yeah.
stuff, but also with the pandemic
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like you need to give some time there. But
Mm.
year and a half of a new show.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So what all did
Yeah.
they do for their 50th thing besides being like, hey, we have a new nighttime celebration?
God, they got so many things. Minnie and Mickey and all their friends have a new look. It's
Do they all
iridescent,
have
but
canes now? Like, oh, we're
no.
50 years old, Minnie.
Kyle, Kyle, you've seen 50-year-olds.
I know I
You've
have.
seen them.
Have I? Have I really though?
50-year-olds
They
are
don't exist.
spry. That's how old Jennifer Lopez was when she was doing all that pole dancing at the Super Bowl halftime show last year. She was 50.
That's right. That's right. Wow. Good for her.
Remember what a 50-year-old can do. You can pole dance or you can redecorate your castle. It's like Minnie and Mickey and all their friends have a new look. It's iridescent, like kind of shimmery, shiny, like blue, but iridescent spelled
I got it.
with the pun. They got the big ears.
Got it.
New
Mhm.
theming. There's like little gold statues all over the park of like 50 different gold statues of like Disney character icons. Like there's Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Daisy and Chip and Dale and Winnie the Pooh, all the way up to more recent characters. I saw a statue of Rocket and with like little baby Groot standing on his shoulder.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, did tons of new snacks, new merchandise. I'm a big dork for stuff like this. I love Disney parks. I love theme parks in general. Like this is what I
Yeah.
watch. This is my like ritual every Saturday morning. I wake up and I have my coffee and I check in with the Disney news of the week. Every night before I go to bed, I watch a video that's just like a hotel tour. I love it. So I've been psyched for like, oh my God, there's going to be new water bottles and different cupcakes.
Brand new water bottles. The greatest
Stuff
thing
I
ever.
can't experience. I won't be there. I just get to look at it on YouTube. But it's so
I mean, you can
exciting
be
to
one
me.
of those people that like buys the stuff online somehow. The ones that like go in there, buy extra, and then like sell it online and stuff like that.
Jeepers, Kyle, I couldn't do that. I look
You
at
can splurge
Disney.
on a new water bottle.
I want a Spirit jersey. They've got so much cool stuff, but like they don't have as much on the website as they have in the parks, unfortunately. I look all the time. I'd get more stuff if they put it all on the website, but they don't. I'm not going to be in Florida anytime soon.
Oh,
I just have to watch. But also, we got
Forever
news that
since
the
I've been there.
Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster is opening sometime next year.
Oh,
Which I think
interesting.
we always roughly knew, but it's nice to check in and have them say, yes, 2022. The Guardians Cosmic Rewind coaster will open in Epcot. You know how Epcot is a world showcase where all these different countries have got like a pavilion. There's the China pavilion, the Morocco pavilion, the Canada pavilion. The theme of the Guardians coaster is that it's going to be the Xandar pavilion. Like
Cool.
the first intergalactic pavilion is opening up, and like that's
planetary.
and like that's the theme of this. It's supposed to be one of like the longest indoor roller coasters in the world. Wow. I love Guardians and I love Epcot, and I love that this is a coaster specifically about being in Epcot. Epcot is like diegetic to the story.
That's awesome.
Did I tell you about the space?
I was just gonna say it's been forever since I've been down there. That I I need to go as an adult. The last time
It's
I
fun.
was there, I was like in middle school, I think. So real young, and I was in that like middle school teen phase where it's fun to be there, but I also just want to have my headphones in and listen to like
Yeah.
music and talk about girls and be sad. So
Have you seen that one Vine? I think it's one guy pretending to be two guys. You know how Vines go. And one of the
yeah.
guys is like, hey, who do you think is the hottest girl at school? And the other guy says, the Epcot ball. And then the first guy keeps talking like, yeah, well, I think it's Brittany. Not just because she's pretty, but also because she's... And he keeps mumbling and trailing off. And then the second guy just has like a thought bubble over his head with Epcot in it. And he just goes, Epcot. Like, that's how I feel all the time. It's my permanent mood. Did I tell you about
funny.
Epcot's space restaurant that just opened up?
I don't think so. I think the like Disney restaurant that we have been enamored by is the Marvel one, the Ant-Man one.
Pim's Test Kitchen, where you can get the giant pretzel. Yes, that's over in California. In Florida, in Epcot, there's a restaurant called Space 220. It is a space-themed restaurant, and you go inside and you get into like a little elevator, and there's like a screen on the floor and a screen on the ceiling. And the premise is that you are dining in a space station that is 220 miles over the Earth. That's where the name comes from. And you get in this elevator, and it's like, well, we're taking you up the space elevator to the restaurant. And you look at the screen, and you see yourself rising up, like from the building, from Epcot, from Disney World, from Orlando, from Florida, from the Earth. And then you look up at the screen on the ceiling, and you see yourself like getting closer to the space station.
I can't help but think of that Twilight Zone to serve man. It's like, Melissa, don't get on. It's a cookbook.
How to cook for 40 humans. You get up there and there's these big screens in the restaurant. Like there's no windows, but there's screens like they're the windows into space.
To make it look like you're out in space.
Yeah, a beautiful digital spacescape, and like astronauts will like float by. I think if you stick around, you'll see like little Easter eggs, like, oh, there's the Guardian ship, there's the Millennium Falcon or something like that. They've got all like space themed food and drinks.
Oh, I need to go. That sounds fun. That sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah. And I watched so many of these Disney Parks videos. I watched one vlog from the channel Ordinary Adventures. They're sitting in the restaurant. They're reviewing all the food. They're showing you everything. And then like the next day, I'm watching the review of the restaurant from the Disney Food Blog channel. And then in the background of their video of the restaurant, you can see the Ordinary Adventures vlog. Like everybody was there the same day. They would acknowledge each other, but it's like, I see them back there. This is what a crossover. What an Easter egg for me.
What a weird
truly,
phenomenon.
This is a multiverse.
Like, think about that for a sec, right? Like that is like, this is now almost like normal accepted behavior. I mean, it absolutely is, but it's still just strange to think about that. Yeah, like the first rounds of these things are often like content creators of varying sorts of like, they review things on YouTube, or they have a podcast, or it's the official like Disney Channel, or this or that, right? And they all get there at the same time, and they're all sitting there like, "What's up, YouTube? So I'm here at Space 220 eating a Mondo burger, and we're sitting here with right." And like as they're doing that, like the table right next to them is also doing the same thing.
You gotta space them out. One vlogger per section.
It's bizarre, but it's just, that's what we do.
And like, that's what you do in a touristy area like that. Like maybe you are, you cover this for a YouTube channel for appreciating viewers like me. Like, I watch so much like tourism content on YouTube. I just want to go on mini vacations. I just want to be inside a hotel I'll never actually go to. Or maybe you're just doing it for like home videos. Like, I'm going to take this video to like show to my brother back home. Look at this space burger I get to eat.
Ah, good stuff, man. I absolutely need to go back to Disney. Well,
I want to go too.
I've only been to the one in Florida, so I haven't been to the one in California.
Me either.
In California, so I need to do both. Is what I need.
Yes.
To do. But yeah, man, good times. I'm not a roller coaster fan, but I like theme parks. Like I like just being there. I like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Atmosphere.
I love the theme part of it. Like, that's the big draw of like Disney and Universal for me. Like, they're not necessarily about, they're about like narrative thrills. Like, you're not going on like any big drops, but like the rides will have theming, they'll have a story, they'll have characters that you know. Everything is like super detailed and art designed. That's exciting for me. Whereas when I go to my local Six Flags, which I'm happy to have, I'm grateful I can drive for like 35 minutes and there's a Six Flags.
Yeah.
But it is like, you're going to go so high and so fast, but the coaster is like just painted green. Like, there's no story.
It's the green cyclone.
Like, it's Six Flags, so they've got DC theming. But like when I'm on Mr. Freeze, it's just like painted an icy blue color. And I think they play like maniacal laughter while you're in the queue. And maybe there's like dry ice. I don't know. I don't think there's a story. I don't think that by the time I've gotten off Mr. Freeze, I have like defeated him, the character.
So I just thought of this. You mentioned Six Flags and you mentioned like DC comic stuff. I knew that they had an affiliation, but I just like, it's not something I think about all that much.
Yeah.
Normally on the Justice League, there's usually 7 members. That membership can go up and down. So I wonder who got kicked out to be like, we only have 6 flags.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, so there is the ride Justice League Battle for Metropolis. And this features Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, I think Green Lantern, and then
Flash?
I don't know the 5th. Oh, Flash, I guess. Yeah. I think it's him and like, the Black Canary and like Martian Manhunter, like just on the sidelines. I don't remember if they're in it.
Yeah, so that's I think 8 of them that you mentioned there. So somehow like maybe Black Canary got kicked out and the Flash was late and they're just like, sorry
he's
guys,
in it. I don't remember.
Only 6 flags.
There's an animatronic cyborg in the queue while you stand there waiting to get into your little vehicle. He's like, thank you for helping me save Wonder Woman and Superman, or whatever the story is.
Cyborg should be on the Titans. That's the team he should be on, not Justice League.
He can do what he wants. I was happy to see him. He's like the best character to like make an animatronic out of, because he kind of is that already. So for like, if they put in a Titans ride, I'd be happy to have it. That sounds fun. I wish they had more like good, sincere, like narrative DC stuff at Six Flags.
Yeah. They need to do what Disney has done, but just like, here's here's Gotham City, here's Metropolis, here's Coast City, here here's all of the like
Themyscira, Atlantis, all of them.
Themyscira and Atlantis. That'd be fun. That'd be so good.
I hope we get to that eventually.
How would you do Atlantis?
I don't know. I haven't seen Aquaman. What if you just look at it? What if it's like a submarine ride where like you get into like a submarine and you they act like you're underwater, but there's like screens where like the portals are. So it's
They
like
could
you're
do
going on a tour
something
of
like
Atlantis.
that. They could
Yeah.
do if I mean this would be a thing that like by time I was 50, maybe it would be done if they start right now. But they could do like Gotham and Metropolis and Themyscira, like outside, stuff like that. But then underground is where Atlantis is. So yeah, there are no windows, but like you said, there are
Uh-huh.
like screens and stuff to make it look like you're
Yeah.
underwater or stuff like that. Somehow they have it built up in that way to make it look
That'd
like
be nice. They could have like an
interesting.
Aquaman stunt show with like a big
Yeah,
pool in it.
yeah.
I want to see I want a stunt show of any kind.
Look, I can
They
do a
don't just
backflip in the water. Oh, can I, bitch?
well, maybe he'll like call dolphins to him or something, whether they be real or I don't know, false, any kind.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? That'd be fun. That would be fun. Did they have any more exciting stuff at the new Disney thing, or did you kind of mention it
Oh,
all?
they've got new projection mapping on the castle. They've got projection mapping all the way down Main Street now, which is new. Their projection mapping game is pretty good.
Interesting.
So yeah, I'm still, vlogs are still coming out. I'm still watching videos. Again, it's not like a lot of news. It's a lot of things that are thrilling if you are there to experience it.
For sure.
It's not as much that I can just tell you and you're excited having, not go. You're not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. We'll just watch. But it's 50 and that's big.
With that, let's take a quick break for housekeeping, and then we will be right back. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you would check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/The Whatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today.
Mm-hmm.
And we are back. Big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters, especially those at the $5 tier and above. So thank you to Sam. Thank you so much
Sam.
for supporting us and keeping the mics on. We appreciate it. Thank you. Cool things that we have done here at the Whatnauts recently. We finished up our reactions to Star Wars Visions. If you guys want to go check those out, both myself and Ignacio, who you guys might know from Crossplay, did our reactions on that in 3 parts. So that is up on the Reactor Core feed. Melissa, you and I have been reacting to What If still.
Yeah.
We just did the penultimate one. The finale is this next week. So be on the lookout for that. We also just started our next monthly series for the review show, our end of the month thing that we follow a certain show or comic all the way to the end. We started watching The Leftovers on HBO Max. So that's exciting. And last but not least, it's October, spooky month.
It is.
So this whole month on the review show, we're gonna have a bunch of scary comics and movies and shows and all sorts of stuff. So if you guys want to check that stuff out as the weeks unfold, that would be good. Go check out all the spooky stuff. Uh, First thing that we are watching this month is a scary movie called Lake Mungo. It's like a
Yeah.
mockumentary style
Yeah.
thing about this girl's death and the supernatural events that occurred after that to
Mm-hmm.
her family and the house that they lived in. So be on the lookout for all that cool stuff. That being said, though, Melissa, I
Yeah.
had an interesting experience this week with my
Okay.
job.
Okay.
Um, we had our like all hands staff retreat
What
this
a
week.
retreat.
Yes. Uh, Thankfully, we did it virtually, so we weren't really retreating anywhere. Uh, but we did one 2 years ago. Do you remember that umbrella that I
Yeah.
mentioned that has all the colors on the inside and stuff, but it like instead of opening regularly like an
Yeah.
umbrella, it opens up like backwards and like
Yes.
fans out. Yeah. Uh
Yes.
I got that at the retreat that we went to 2 years ago. But last year they didn't do one. This year they did it virtually. This was an interesting experience.
Uh-huh.
This was so weird. So it in I think as a whole, it could have been an email. So when your whole retreat could have been that's a bad sign. Probably just
Mm-hmm.
didn't need to do all of this in the first place. But we get there, it starts at like 9 a.m. So I'm sitting here at my desk with my lights on and my laptop top on. They say that having your camera on is mandatory, so we had to have all of our cameras on. It was fine if you turned it off, like they were understanding if like, hey, you
Mm.
need to go do something or like use the bathroom or something, you can turn it off for a sec. But if like they were encouraging us to be like, please leave them on, we want to see your
Mm.
faces, we want you to interact with people, stuff like that. The first like hour and a half is them trying to do like a live like morning talk show kind of thing. And they have no experience doing any of this. The production was terrible. Um
How
on
can I
on
ask you, like, how big was this? Like, how many people? Is this like your little department? How what's
it's
the scope here?
it's the entirety of our department, which is about 250 people.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Um
Wow.
yeah, I don't know if all of us made it there, so I'm gonna guess there was like 220. I don't know, maybe 30 people were sick or didn't show up for some reason. Who knows? But yeah, it was a lot of us. But the the actual people that were putting on a um like this live show for us, they were in some studio, I don't know what, or in some like physical location where there was like 6 or 7 of them um like on a couch, and or there weren't 6 or 7 of them on the couch, but they had a set with a couch and a table,
Okay.
and there were like 2 or 3 of them on set while the rest were like working lights and the cameras and stuff like that, and they were trying to do this live production. They didn't have the right kind of mics. It sounded terrible. They Their camera angles were bad. They had really bad lighting. Um, like it was well lit. You could see it all, but it was very flat. Like you could
Mhm.
tell, like no matter they were just like, let's light everything at 100,000%, and then everything will be lit on all sides, and it'll be great. And it was not great. But so yeah, for this first like hour and a half, they're trying to do this live show. They're trying to do like improv exercises to like get people warmed up, but they can't really do that with us, so they could only do it with the people there on set. But then the stuff that they had us do was like, we're gonna do this stretching exercise where you like shake your one arm for 8 seconds, and then you do the next one for 8 seconds, and then your leg, and then your other leg, and then
I have
you
another
do the same
question.
thing.
So
7 seconds, 6, 5, blah blah blah.
Oh, what's that for? You're not a child. So are these people who are
Exactly.
doing this, is this like your actual bosses? Like your bosses decide, like these are people you would see in your building. These are people you report to, and they're like, let's just do like a Good Morning America for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mostly them, and then they brought two people in. There was one person who like was the like main. They were the ones that led the live stream, and then we had a keynote speaker. So those were the only two that did not work for us there. But besides that, like main host to do the live show, yeah, she was sitting right next to like the vice president of our thing, and he's in a suit, and he's like a businessman who does not have the like experience being like on camera. Like you can tell he's very uncomfortable and like uptight about all of this, but trying to be out, right? Because he is in a leadership position, and so he needs to do all of this. But yeah, they're making us, all right, just like shake this arm and then shake this arm, get loose, everybody.
Get
shake
loose
your
for
leg
what?
now.
You're going to sit there.
Yeah, and it was just ridiculous, and they did that for an hour and a half.
An hour and a half of shaking.
Yeah, of like stuff like that, and improv exercises and stuff like that, and it was just, this was dumb. And then we went to 2 breakout sessions of classes, right? The first one I went to was on like how to tell better stories, and for context, my department basically reaches out to alumni and donors to hopefully have them give money back. And so our job is to kind of like find these philanthropic stories to be like, hey, here's why you should give. Look at this one student. You helped them out a ton. They no longer live in X third world country now. They have gone to school, and they're the first ones that, in their family and stuff like that. So it was how to like find and write better stories. The class was interesting, I'll say. They had some good advice. Probably could have been a podcast. Like there was no interactivity at all. Like it was just like the person speaking the entire time, and so it was just like, oh, so I sat there for an hour and a half staring blankly at the screen, you watching them yell at me to like, okay, shake this arm. And now I get to sit here for another hour while you like tell me to find good stories. Okay. And then we went to the next session. That one was a little bit better, had some interactivity, but it was still stuff of like, this is like the kind of like group session that like when they break you out into small groups, like no one really knows what to say exactly.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess I can share like, okay, wellness in the workplace. That to me, that means like making sure I drink enough water. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then we went to lunch, and then we came back, and that's when we had the keynote speaker. Keynote speaker is the like crux of this story that I want to
all right,
tell, because this guy, oh man, he tried his damnedest. He was enthusiastic. He was all about it. He's like, yes, teamwork. Yes, the power of friendship. Yes, motivational speaking. Yeah, like all of this. Like he did the right stuff. Like by the book, right? Like if you are a public speaker or if you're a preacher, right, or you need to be some like motivational, inspirational speaker, he checked off all of those boxes of like be engaging, move around, talk with your hands,
Kyle,
do this.
Kyle, everything you're describing is something Venom can do. Talking about teamwork, working together, harmony, believing in yourself, being
Anything
out there,
you can
like
do, I can do
yelling
better.
and waving your hands. That is all stuff I saw Venom do last night. They should have hired a Venom.
Spoiler
Get
alert.
yourself a Keynote
Tom
Symbiote.
Hardy was the guy that they hired. No. Yeah. Eddie Brock, inspirational speaker. You know what I mean?
Not Eddie. Not Eddie. Venom.
Venom himself is the inspirational speaker.
He is.
Kyle,
Eddie, I'm not
you
lying.
are
That is
important.
something that this happens in the movie. He goes to a dance club and he gives them an inspirational speech. He goes up there and he takes the mic and he talks to them, and the people love it. They're cheering and they're shouting. And then at the end he says "lethal protector out" and he drops the mic. Kyle, this literally happened.
Oh no.
They're really
I need to
pushing
watch
the
this
phrase
now.
"lethal protect." You have to. Also, I'm so grateful you made me read "lethal protector" so that I understood
So now
that
you
was
know
a pre-existing phrase in Venom canon, because
Instead
they
of
say
just
it like
being
4
confused.
times. Right. But back to
Why
this
does he keep
keynote
saying
speaker who's
lethal
not Venom.
protector? Yeah. Yeah, so he's up there, he's doing his damnedest, but it is the most corporate bullshit that you can come up with. Like, wow, the work you guys do, really important. Man, you all do such a great job doing this important work. You make an impact. Here's my slide that says impact, right?
Yeah,
And-
nothing's more frustrating than just an inert PowerPoint where it's like clip art of like a bunch of orbs, but like one of the orbs is a different color than the other orb, so that represents
what it was.
individuality.
Or like some stock photo of like it's just like the most like nondescript like clock, and it's just like,
God.
here we're gonna talk about integrity, right?
Right.
Just like, why do you have a clock there? I don't. What's going on?
You could have just written the word integrity. Like, the image you've provided does not like further illustrate the point to me at all.
Terrible choice, yeah. But so he ends up like the first thing he ends up talking about is like your purpose and how it intersects with the why, like why you do what you do. And so he had us break up into small groups, like teams of like 4 to 6, and then discuss what your purpose is for the next 5 minutes. Everyone hates these things. I know you've been in some like conference or meeting that like you've had to do something like this, or just like some it's you have to discuss something in a small group, and just no one wants to be there. No one really knows what to say. There's such just boilerplate questions.
Like, I'll talk to the group, but don't give me questions. Like, let me just see how Megan's doing. Like, I don't want to ask her, Megan, what's your purpose?
Okay, we have to get away from doing that stuff. because the impact of these things are like no, they're like it was so dumb, and so by like I'm just completely checked out
Yeah.
by this time. I've just been staring there blankly at my screen the entire morning. Um, Thankfully, this is where things got good. This is where things got amazing. We get transferred. Apparently, Zoom has this feature that you can like transfer people into like small breakout
Yeah.
rooms, and then they come back after a certain amount of time to the main one. And so I get put in this group, and as the cameras are loading, the first thing that is audible is, man, I fucking hate these exercises. They're such goddamn bullshit.
Wow.
and yeah, it's first of all hilarious to hear like that be the first thing that I hear on mic, but then to see who said it was just like, oh my god, I was not expecting that from you. Like you're kind of one of the higher ups, like more like it's like we're, and then someone else said like, weren't you on the planning committee? And they were like, yes, but not for this stuff. Like I like all the stuff that was in your like gift bag that you got. Like I helped make that. They delivered us gift bags. Yeah, nothing good. We got a mug that was branded with the
I don't have
company.
anything.
That was nice.
Do you know what like what an office lady I am? Do you know how much I want something with my company's name on it?
Mug.
They never give us anything like this.
Yeah, so we had some knickknacks and stuff like that. But yeah, to see that person just be like, all of this is goddamn bullshit. Like, why are we doing this? I hate this. Was great. It was perfect. It was the exact just like hilarious, funny moment to just be like, okay, now I'm awake. I'm interested and stuff like that. And then our time is up, and we go back to the main session. He talks a little bit more, and then he has us go in another like breakout group. I don't remember what he had us talk about in this second one, but it was like, what is your reason for getting up in the morning in relation to your job? Like,
this is different from purpose.
Why do you come to work? That's it. Like, that was the question, and it's supposed to be this like inspiring thing, right? Like, oh man, I come to work to help people. It'll be great, right? Like I just love helping people and being a team player. And we get into the breakout group. I think they were supposed to be randomized, but they weren't. All the same group. Like I was in the same ones. So as we immediately recognize that, like, hey, these are all the same people, we immediately just start laughing, because it's like we know the kind of snark that is about to like be here in this stuff. We're like, this is bullshit again. I come to work because of fucking capitalism. Like, I have to be here to make my paycheck. That's it. So yeah, like that when we went back and it was done, that the whole thing could have been in email. It was terrible. It was not fun. It was just, there was no like, I didn't walk away from that with like, man, today I learned that my goals are gonna be this for the next fiscal year, or that like as a company, here's the latest news, and here's why we're switching to this platform or something like that. There was nothing. It was like, you guys did a live show, some breakout sessions that could have maybe been a podcast or like an email,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was an inspirational pep talk, and it was just like, what is this? This is
Yeah,
terrible.
that sounds difficult to do when you have a company of that size. My company's like less than 50 people, and like we all know each other, and it's like very chill and very personal. Like when we have I'm training somebody new this week, and I was telling her like normally we've had this like Halloween party in the past, and it's really fun. I have no idea what they're doing this year. I hope they do something. Like I actively look forward to meetings because like I have a small team. I really like my team. We like to socialize. Sometimes I'm bummed out when our manager like just sends us a long email like, "Hey guys, here's a bunch of updates." I'm like, I wish we could all be collected in a room. It's fun to be in a room, but like when your company's that big, it seems like all of that gets lost. How do you like?
Suck.
What is the point of doing it with 250 people?
Well, like we used to do like an every other week like team meeting,
Mm.
and I would say for like the past 2 years that I've been going to those, I don't think I've had to speak up more than 5 times. Like most of the stuff has nothing to do with me, and so it's just like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also kind of the odd one out on the team because I don't really deal with like the alumni or donors, and I usually don't directly involve myself with our clients and stuff like that. Every now and then I'll have to like chime in, but I'm also the like creative on my team, even though my work is not really all that creative, but it is the one that like requires the most creative knowledge.
Yeah.
And so like everyone else is like business minded and stuff like that, and here I'm just like, that color pink looks nice.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I just most of the stuff I don't understand what they're talking about or have to do all of that stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you guys spent half an hour to basically come up with like you're going to send an email to someone.
Yeah.
Really? Did we need to meet for this? Like this is stupid. So meetings suck. Meetings suck indeed. But
I like
I don't know.
meetings, but I'm a business dork.
You're a certified
If I worked
office
with
lady.
if I worked with different people, maybe I wouldn't like meetings, but like I love my team. I want to spend
That's
time
good.
with my team. I look forward
That
to
is good.
meetings.
Yeah. We also don't necessarily really like chit chat about other things. Like, oh, did you guys see the new Marvel's What If last night? Some of that stuff kind of happens around the office every now and then, but for the most part, no. It's business. Business. Sucks.
Business.
Business.
Which is what
There you
Venom's
go.
speech would be. If you just got Venom to be your keynote speaker.
You guys are important. Great job doing the important work. You have an impact.
I hope that's Venom 3.
Lethal Protector out. I wish he ended his speech like that. Lethal Protector out. That would have been
Lethal
great.
Protector. He's got it in his email signature.
Oh man, good stuff. Well, that's about all I got for this week. That's all the stuff that happened to me. But it was a good week. Good week. I had a good week indeed. I think that is about it. That wraps us up. I don't know if I need to say any other kind of housekeeping stuff. So, Melissa, where
Yeah.
can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. Listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, where me and my brother Jams talk about weird old kids shows you feel like only you remember.
Good stuff. If you guys want to find me, I'm at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. And if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So go like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that. Yeah, we will be back next week with more of the Captain's Log. Yeah, we will see you all then. Bye.
Bye.